How's it going, everybody? I'm here at Divine Mercy Academy. We're about to do a virtual open house because none of us can go to open houses right now. We're gonna go in and meet with Barb here in a second. She's the head of education at the school. She's gonna take us on a tour, and we're gonna see why DMA is a safe place to open up right now. Here we go. Hey, Barb.
Good morning. How are you today?
Doing great.
Good. Well, it's nice to have you here. I would just give you a walkthrough of what we have. Our students will have been tested at their cars to make sure they're okay. Mm-hmm. Any incomers, a parent that might come in or a visitor, this is our stop desk. Anything that children need, they will let us know and they'll come here. We have the screen up so that they can be on one side and the other.
But the parents are staying outside.
Parents are staying outside, but if they need to bring something in, if they have something to say, they can come in and we would have somebody back here just for their safety with the guard here.
Awesome.
Okay, next we're going to go down where the students are. And this area is for students and staff only during school hours.
Awesome.
So we'll go down to the classrooms. We have posted the feet on the floor so that the students know social distancing.
So Barb, can I ask you a question real quick?
Sure.
Why are we doing this open house right now? Like, what's the general idea behind doing it?
I want parents to see that we're ready for school to start and that our number one priority is to make sure that they're safe and that the parents can feel that they're safe when they send their child to school.
All right, what room we got?
This first room here on your right is our meeting room. It wouldn't be a room that's always used by students. Some of our professional staff would be in here, maybe running a small group with the children. And we have a small professional library for them here. When our school board meets, we would meet in here, again, moving tables apart so that we have the social distancing in here as well.
Back out.
This next room is one of our regular classrooms for the students. This would be our classroom for our older students.
So how old are we talking?
This would be the 5th, 6th, 7th grade students. It would be 8th grade also, but we don't have an 8th grade student right now. There will only be 10 students in the room. All the desks are already proportioned to be 6 feet apart. We want to give them some boundaries to work on. That also helps with some of the executive functioning pieces that we're working on, is that boundary and organizational skills. All of the students will have their own boxes with their crayons. Everything will be marked so that because we don't want the sharing. As much as we'd like to share, we know we cannot share right now. And that's part of the guidelines. The tables that the teachers might work with a small group of students at have the shields up, the sneeze guard shields. We also have, all of the students will be issued 2 face masks. One to keep, one to wear, one to take home. They're all washable. And we also have shields for anybody who can't, face shields for anyone who can't tolerate a face mask.
So what happens if there are things that you just can't get around not sharing? What if there's things you just have to share?
Then we would sanitize after the sharing.
Okay.
We'd sanitize. And each classroom will have hand sanitizer station, bleach and water, and wipe strips so that at the end of the day we can clean all the desks again.
Nice.
This next classroom is for our younger students. This would be like the 1st through 4th grade students. Again, it was set up very similar to the other classroom. They also will have the squares around the desk. We don't have them down yet because of the humidity, not being in school. We don't want it lifting up. The sneeze guard shields are on the desks. If we ever had to separate, we have a couple of room separators in the back.
Like tables are for in the back, that's nice.
Yeah, if teacher wants to work with a group and then she works from the back forward. I'd like to just show in the bathrooms, I'll just show one.
I'm allowed to go in here right now, right?
Yes, you are. It's the girls. We want to spend most of our time working with the students on the academics and not spending all of our time cleaning. So what we've done, because we have a lower number of students, is we've closed off part of the stalls using one that we can sanitize twice a day. We have the signs up for the students to stop the spread of germs, wash your hands. We have a paper towel station. We'll also have a hand sanitizing, and we have the soap here.
Yeah, I saw you guys aren't using
Oh yeah, we're not using these. We have those. the paper towels right now. And we've, again, closed off the sinks, again, just to make it easier to not have to clean everything because we want to sanitize twice a day. And the boys' bathroom is set up exactly the same way. This is our sort of our relaxation. Our experience with the students last year was that they liked the relaxation piece. We take them out for walks, but because we can't go out on playgrounds and things as much, we're in here. Every student will be asked to bring their own yoga mat so that we're not sharing the yoga mats, and we play music and just kind of have everything else cleaned out of here. They would use like after a lunchtime. That's when the students kind of liked it. Or if we have a student who needs a little time to themselves, we do have trampolines and that they can come in here with the ParaPro.
Speaking of lunch, how do you guys do it?
We'd like to see all the kids go together so that they have some time to talk across the room, and I'll show you the lunchroom. But if we can't, we'll have 2 separate lunches, one for the younger students and one for the older students. This is our lunchroom, and we chose this for the lunchroom because it doesn't have carpeting, so it's easy for cleanup. We can also do art in here, and we can do science projects, easy cleanup. There's enough space that we can space all the children out. If we have to, we'll have a first lunch with the younger students and then a second lunch, but it'd be nice for them to be able to be together and talk. The way we do lunch here is that the adults eat with the students so that we can continue to talk and carry on conversations. And if they finish, we can play hangman or some game where they can all kind of interact. They have their own microwave and refrigerator for the lunches so that if they need it, it's all self-contained. After one lunch leaves, we sanitize. The next lunch, we sanitize again. Each student will have their own space, so if they're doing art or if it's science or lunch, they'll have their same space to work on, because we also work on picking up after ourselves.
Great, that's the lunchroom. So another question I had, Barb, is what is going to happen if we open up schools? What if they shut down schools? How is DMA going to carry on learning?
Well, we have a plan for continuing education, very similar to the one that we worked with last year, which is individualized, working with the families, calling the parents what's a good time to work with them, instead of just saying, this is the time we're going to do it. Everything is individualized, and we prepare, well, some things may come through the internet. I go ahead and make copies of everything, and we send them packets for 2 weeks in a row with, this is what we do, this is what you do week 1, this is what we're doing week 2, and then teachers call. We have a minimum of 2 contacts a week with the families, provided that's what they want, but it's really individualized. And then we even provide the parents with postage paid envelopes to send back the materials, so that they don't have to leave their home or come to a school to pick things up. We really tried to individualize it.
And accommodate for
and accommodate, sure. So they seem to like it worked last year, so we're gonna try it again.
That's awesome.
And we're small. The classroom you're standing in here, right now we have enough students to fill 2 classrooms. My goal is no more than 10 students a classroom. This will be our overflow. If we get more students, my goal is 30 students this year. I think we could safely handle them for a full day experience all week in school.
30, good number. So Barb, what happens if a kid or a teacher gets COVID-19?
Well, we're following all of the local health department and CDC guidelines, as well as the state guidelines. So if somebody were to get sick, then they would have to self-quarantine for 14 days. We would go through and do a deep clean on the building again and sanitizing. If someone came into close contact, the CDC defines close contact as within 6 feet of someone and talking to them for more than, say, 15 minutes. If they were at that point, then they would have to self-quarantine for like 72 hours to see if they had any symptoms. I was there. So any of the symptoms. But I look every other day, I look at what the CDC is putting out, and we're going to stick to those guidelines, because that's what we can, guarantee for the parents. But we also know that those change every day.
Yeah.
So we'll just keep in close contact with that and keep the sanitizing of this building as much as we can, twice a day, and then heavy at the end of the day to prepare for the next day.
I really like the tour, Barb. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm really excited to see how you guys do this year.
So are we. We're going to start with individual plans for all the students, and we're going to go from there.
So what time you guys plan on opening?
We're opening August 24th. Okay. Staff are coming in the 17th. We open the 24th and we go through June 11th. We've extended the school year some so that we can make up for some of the lost time for the students.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, good luck.
Thank you.
about me?